remember not so long ago, I used to have to wake up early in the morning, get a shower, get dressed up, eat some shitty ass generic fucking Lucky Charms or either Fruity Pebbles or Chocolate Pebbles, sometimes Chocolate Rice Krispies. And then I would have to get all my books together, recheck my homework, make sure everything was fine, and then I would have to sit out in the freezing cold out on a corner street waiting for a bus filled with maniacs and insane people who weren't even mature enough to barely tie their shoes. And I would get on this bus and I would either sit at the front of the bus or in the complete back of the bus, depending on if my friends were there. I would then be driven off to this building where people were fighting all the time, where people were attacking each other, where people were having a battle over who was the most popular of all. And we called this high school. High school wasn't much different from middle school. Wasn't much different from kindergarten either. Same kind of rules, same kind of structure. You go in, you try to find something that fits for you, and hopefully other kids won't come along and try to take it from you. Same ordeal. One thing I've discovered is that people can be quite cruel. One of the things that I've noticed that is very cruel that goes on in these different high schools is these people, you have your middle class and you have your poor people and you have your rich kids. Most of your rich kids are the popular girls who are on the cheerleader squad and those who are also jocks who play football. Sometimes every once in a while you get a poor kid and stuff who's got a lot of talent who gets to play the football game. But all through this situation you have all these different categories of people, such as the nerds and the jocks, the geeks, the metalheads, the burnouts, all that. I myself, I've always been considered a cross, a combination between all these things. Although I'm a big guy, I was also very into books. I loved reading and I loved educating myself and trying to find out new things. I always thought it was an accomplishment if I could learn at least one or two things per day. I remember when I would be sitting in class and I would try to learn more than what the teacher was actually giving me. It seemed like the teachers didn't care. They didn't care what I learned or what I was interested in. They simply wanted to give me a piece of paper or an assignment and say, do it, and then come back tomorrow and return your paper in, and if you don't, you're going to get an F and you're not going to pass, and then you'll have to start the whole year over again. Well, luckily for me, I was smart enough to be able to go to the library, and I was smart enough to be able to read the books that I was given, as well as the books that I received from school, and learn all the things that I did. Unfortunately, whenever you go to high school or any one of these schools, they have a set ideology of what they want to teach you and what they expect that you are going to learn. And it seems like a lot of these teachers nowadays, they don't really give a shit if you learn anything anyway or if you accomplish anything or succeed. Every once in a while you'll find a really good teacher who's not there just primarily for that small ass check they're going to get. I personally think that if teachers were paid more, you would be surprised how much more interest they would take in each individual student. But it's kind of like loading in cattle. You load these people in, you give them the shit that they need to do, and send them on their way. One of the things that bothered me too is how easy it was for students to pick on other students, either for the way they look or for the way they talk or for the way they walk. I remember I had this one friend, every time he would drink out of his Coca-Cola can at the cafeteria, he had this thing where he liked to put his pinky finger up while he was drinking. And a lot of people would refer to him as a fag, or he was gay, or he was a loser and shit, just because his finger was sticking out like this, and people symbolize that as gay. What they didn't know is that he used to play a lot of sports and stuff, and he actually had a soccer ball kicked at him, and he almost got hit in the face, and when the ball came at him, it lodged his finger in. So now his finger is practically broke, and he couldn't hardly close it like that. He was like this all the time. But the students loved to pick out that one little thing about him so they could try to make him out to look like a fag. It was really, really sad, really immature. I myself, when I was going through school, I remember I used to take turns in the cafeteria who I would sit next to. Would I sit next to people who were considered nerds, who were bookworms, or one day I would sit next to the jocks? And I noticed that they all hated each other. They couldn't stand each other. And I never really understood that. I never really understood why everybody couldn't all together just sit at tables together and talk and mingle and, chill out about life. Maybe talk about video games, or maybe talk about what they're going to do after school and stuff like that. There always had to be this separation. Same with the people who were African American or Mexican, whoever was going to the school at the time. They all had their own separate tables, even during my lifetime. It's really weird. No kind of balance, no kind of equilibrium, just little groups here and there. And this is the way life is too, which is weird. Once you get out of high school, everybody picks their little group or their own little clan of people they're going to hang with and shit. And it never really changes. And I wonder if we should blame the school system for this. I wonder if we should blame the way people raise us, where they raise us to be around certain people and certain groups and certain ideologies. How can we ever grow or evolve as a people if we're always hanging out in separate groups and not sharing ideas with people with different perspectives? We have taught our society to close each other off from other things. And we see the same mentality with atheism, agnosticism, deism, Satanism, Christianity, Buddhism, as well as the Muslims. Everybody's got their own little group. And the world is a giant high school where people are trying to find out who's the most popular, who's the most significant, who's the most relevant. And that's one of the reasons why we're not getting anywhere. So what can we do about it?